Okay, so I had a thought about my book, and I wanted to share, like, because I saw something about somebody commented on Twitter about capitalism, and you know, I think we all, well, at least let me just speak for myself. I have mixed feelings about it because our modern world is rooted in capitalism. Like the reason why I'm able to go live and have this fancy microphone and have this light here and all this stuff and have stuff delivered really fast and stuff is thanks to capitalism. Because, you know, the best companies like Amazon and stuff, they win. The people that make quality products, they win. But we all know the downsides, or at least, the downside is that, it's at the cost. What's the cost, right, of capitalism on humanity? And I think about that a lot. We have it's soaring wealth inequality throughout the world, not just at home in the US, but all over. I see it here in Japan as well. People kind of just become cogs in a machine. And I'm doing this training from this guy. I won't call him a friend, but I'll say he's like a collaborator. If you're watching, Rob, appreciate you, man. He does a lot. He's got a operating system about how he runs his business, and it basically subverts all of these kind of expectations that a lot of I call them Twitter elite, espouse on Twitter about how to run your business, how to get people to find you, all this stuff using traditional copywriting, all this. He kind of goes against that, and it's because he wants to be more individual. He wants to be more himself. He wants to teach other people to be more themselves, and that's through a lot of introspective work. It's through just finding your own authenticity, and that's hard. That's really hard, because it's easy to go out and buy a template, buy a course. Yep, some guru tells you how to do it. How do I start my business? How do I run my business? This is very common nowadays. You can just kind of pay for the solution, implement it, and then see what happens. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But to find your own solution, to trust yourself enough to go out and just do what I'm doing now. Just, hey, going live. I don't even know how the hell the streaming software works sometimes. Like I'm checking all these things. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but you just got to do it, And I've found, even though it takes the longest, and at times it's the most scary because you're not sure if it's working. You feel weird. I know I felt that way for the last few years, just like people in my sphere. I'm ex-military, I'm a veteran. So there's very few veterans that are not just starting businesses, but like doing it in the way I'm doing it with, the technology and integrating all these different skills and domains. I have met only a handful of other veterans who kind of can rock with that. So it gets kind of discouraging because you don't see anybody with you, And as a teacher, I'm reminded of that because we come up in this kind of homogenous society that says, okay, math, English, social studies, you all take your classes, and everybody comes out looking more or less the same. And I feel like the future is moving away from that. That was a very 21st century construct of, we need cogs in the machine because we have all these machines and we need to run them somehow. And those machines are not just physical, those are the levers of government and just society, right? We just had a lot of institutions that needed running people. Now we have code, we have AI, we have all of these kind of force multipliers that don't require as much manpower, that don't require as many people to run it. And when they do need to run it, they need to be kind of specialized. They need to be self-motivated. They need to be trained in a specific way. And the one size fits all kind of model that a lot of us have grown up on, I know I have, it kind of fails in preparation for the future. So why am I talking about those? I swear there's a point. I'm talking about all this because that was kind of the thought in my mind as I was writing Cereus Limnic. It was kind of like, well, if capitalism has all of these negative externalities, if it reduces us to cogs in a machine and just a profit first and winner takes all kind of model, then what's better? what's the solution, like, and I started trying to imagine that, and I'm no expert, I'm no economist, I'm no political scientist. I've read a lot of books though. I have a lot of ideas, and fuck it, like I like anime, I like Chinese dramas. I just like integrating things from various cultures. That's kind of my thing. That's where I excel, is various, just synthesizing various things and bringing them together in a different way, in a unique way. And so that's what Cereus Limnic is. I basically said, I wanted to call it actually Cereus Limnic, a post-capitalist tale. I wanted that subtitle. And at the very last second, I took it out. And I think it was because I didn't want it to turn into like this politically charged thing, even though that's what happens anyway, right? Today, everything turns political somehow. It's really damn annoying. That's how our world works nowadays. But yeah, I didn't want it to be kind of corrupted in that sense, like, oh, a post-capitalist tale, oh, you hate capitalism, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it doesn't, it's certainly a referendum, I think, on capitalism. But one thing I wanted to do, which is difficult to do, is I wanted to balance the arguments in the book. So I make sure, like, if there's a character who is, very anti-capitalist or whatever, then they have some type of competent contrast to that viewpoint. And then, of course, these viewpoints kind of clash. And so that's kind of the battle system, if you will, of Cereus Limnic, is that it's a conflict of ideals, of ideologies. And everybody is, I don't do the thing where, okay, the people that are post-capitalist are super competent and super powerful, and the people that are capitalists are super weak and they're the bad guys. Like, it's not that simple. I don't really like that, because there's people on both sides of these debates, on many sides of every issue, that are very competent and very passionate. They just happen to have a very different worldview due to historical reasons, the way they grew up, whatever. So I wanted to represent that in my book. And so this is more than just a science, straight up science fiction book. I really wanted to say something with it. I wanted to say something with the characters, but then I also wanted to make people have fun with it. I wanted people to not make light of it, because it is a very important question of how do we want to organize our societies in the future with all of this technology, because the genie's kind of out of the bottle, right? There's no putting it back in. We have to deal with the AI and the machine learning and the robots. All that stuff is here to stay. It's only going to proliferate and accelerate in the coming years. So there are some people who bury their head in the sand and stick to traditional ideals. I'm like, that is a losing stance and a losing battle. That is not how we move into the future. How we move into the future is we look at what is, we accept it, and we take as many people as we can with us. But we have to think of a way to reorganize our society, including with this technology, to protect as many people as we can. That's kind of my point. So that was a long kind of preamble to chapter 1 of Cereus Limnic.